Hi, I'm James Shillinglaw, and I'm here at the Travel Leaders Network EDGE Conference here in Washington. I come here every year, and every year we have a great conference, and we learn a lot more things about travel advisors and, of course, Travel Leaders Network. I have here today sort of a special guest. We've interviewed him before, but not for a while. It's John Lovell, who's the president of Travel Leaders Group, which is really the parent of Travel Leaders Network. And we're going to sit down with John for a little sort of high-level look at what's going on in the travel agency business today. And you're going to find out about that and a whole lot more on Insider Travel Report. John, first of all, great. Thanks for spending some time with us. I know it's been a busy conference for you. We have one more day to go, actually.
That's it.
But it's been an amazing conference, as always. A lot of great travel advisors, a lot of great content. But let's talk a little bit about, I guess the sort of easy first question is, are we now truly emerged from the pandemic period and really returned to even above normal levels of booking and travel?
Well, absolutely. I would say the pandemic was in the rearview mirror mid-2023. So it's not something we even, in terms of measurement or anything like that. We're really just looking at last year's performance to gauge how we're doing this year.
So we're not looking at 2019 anymore as the bellwether. That was the last good year, and now we're well above that. Right?
Yeah, it's really nice to see all of our comps being looked at against 23, not 2019. I hope I never have to look at those numbers again.
Well, that was a hard period. We all got through it. It's kind of crazy. It's hard. We're trying to put that out of our memory now.
Exactly. That's like I said, it's in the rearview mirror, and I think our best days are still ahead of us.
So let's talk about what's selling really well right now. I think you talked about this earlier in the press conference we had. I understand cruises really across all categories, river, expedition, luxury, premium, contemporary, everything is doing well and surpassing levels from even 2023.
Absolutely. When we look at the entire cruise category as a whole, through May, versus same time last year in 23, we're up about, when you look at everything in aggregate, we're up about 18%. So
that's pretty amazing.
On our numbers, that's phenomenal, quite honestly. And 23 was our best year in history. So, 24 shaping up to be a very, very strong year, if not our best year ever.
Now, you mentioned some places that were a little softer, which was land and sun and fun vacations. Why do you think that's happening?
Well, sun and fun, we're just seeing a little bit of a flattening there, but we do anticipate by the end of the year to still be up, single digits year over year from 23. Theme parks, we're still having a very, very good year, up about 9%. And then when you look at, land and touring, especially as it relates to Europe, we're seeing excellent growth out of there. So land as a total is up. It's just the fun and sun side right now. We've got to make a little bit more of a consolidated effort and push to make sure that we exceed 2023 levels.
So Europe is still strong, right?
Europe's very strong, yes.
And with the Paris Olympics even so. Some people are shying away from that area. I know I'm going to Paris, but early on in the season.
Yeah, within Travel Leaders Group, we also have another company called Road Trips, and they specialize in events such as the games, and they're going to have a record-breaking year sending clients over to the games themselves. So, some people want to stay away from Paris. Then we have other people that want to go and experience the games. And it's really the first summer games where we're actually going to have some fans there in a while. So all indications are it's going to be a record-breaking year for us organizationally. But Europe as a whole is doing extremely well.
And I would drill a little bit into land. How about all-inclusives? How are they doing?
They're doing very, very well. Their product continues to resonate with the consumer, with our advisors, and Fun and Sun, as you know, we have wonderful partners here, and they're very, very happy with our results right now.
Yeah, in fact, you just heard from one on stage just a second ago, and they're doing great. Everyone's recording record bookings. Now, just to reiterate, I thought maybe we'd see some softness after the surge. There was that revenge travel thing right after 2022 into 23, but we're not seeing that, right?
No, we haven't. And I don't know if it's, quote, revenge travel. I think it's just...
I liked the term at the time. It was pretty cool.
It was a pretty cool term. Whoever came up with it should have trademarked the name. They'd be doing quite well. But, at the end of the day, we had... Basically FCCs, future cruise credits, future travel credits that all of our partners provided to clients that had bookings on the books when the pandemic first happened. So you had about 18 months of product that was already sold. It just needed to travel. So when the pandemic ended, you had 18 months coming right back onto the books, plus people that wanted to travel. Even those people wanted to travel more because they had saved, they had the budget for it. So, the last really 18 months, 2 years has just been phenomenal growth for everybody. But we're not seeing any type of slowdown at this point. Most recently, TSA, their data that they're sharing shows, 24 every passengers going through the TSA checkpoints. It's well ahead of 23. So, and we're not seeing the slowdown that I think some people anticipated.
Well, I certainly saw, how can it go at this pace initially? And of course, I think we were talking about this during your press conference earlier, and you said that strategy of having cruise lines issue FCCs really worked pretty well.
It worked well for everyone.
Maybe at the time some travel advisors I can't believe I have to do all this paperwork.
Well, it was a lot of work for everybody, but I think we've all reaped the benefits.
Absolutely. Now, specifically, how is Travel Leaders Network kind of best positioned to help really all kinds of travel agency models? You have a very diverse group here. It's a large group of travel advisors and a lot of different types of travel agencies. I think you have more host agencies than almost anybody that I know. And then there are other models that are coming in. But how do you position Travel Leaders Network as an organization that can really help all these people?
Yeah, organizationally, we're blessed to have wonderful, wonderful people that work for us that really are competent in certain areas. We have dedicated people that are focused just on supporting corporate agencies. We have people that are just dedicated that support our host agency members. Then we have people that are more focused just on leisure only, cruise only, tour, so forth and so on.
You have a dedicated luxury sales. You had a conference before with the luxury travel advisors too.
Right, and you look at what Roger and his team have really done with our alliance programs, be it the Luxury Alliance, the Independent Advisor Network, Honeymoons and Destination program. So we're really creating these alliances and communities where people, we can provide more benefit, more services, more products to those type of agencies, depending on their model.
No, absolutely, and so that's really what the key to success here. Because I heard all the different programs. In fact, we're missing a few programs as we speak here, right? Correct.
But the one thing is yes, we're a large organization, but when you drill into our organization, no matter what your business model is we have a community, we have an alliance that will fit your business model.
Now, one of the things we keep hearing about that this is the golden age of travel advisors, travel agencies, which, is rather surprising, at least, in my memory. How did this happen so soon after the pandemic?
Well, I think it happened because of the pandemic. When we went into the pandemic, a lot of people found out that their travel plans might have been good, but boy, when there was a problem, there was nobody to call. Nobody to provide any assistance, anybody to provide a validation or to help them when they really needed the help. Then when we kind of started to get back into travel again, they really wanted to, research their product. They wanted to know what the requirements were to travel to a particular destination, whatever that might be. And the person that they found was the travel advisor. And the travel advisor has really provided great service, great knowledge, but most importantly, that affirmation and confirmation and providing that service where if anything goes wrong along their journey, they know they're going to have somebody there to support them. So, and I can say that all day, but when you look at the Google results that we look at, what's being searched, people searching for travel advisors are up 20% year over year. And it's just phenomenal, but it's driven by the consumer.
Well, and another aspect of that is that there's actually a shortage of travel advisors right now. You're looking for good people. It's a profession, you and I have both been doing this for a while. Yeah. It's the first time in recent memory where, there are people where the travel agency profession, travel advisor profession is viewed as a growing profession.
Well, it is a growing profession. And, I've said this many, many times when I'm giving a talk. The travel industry is one of the only industries where you can project growth. We know how many planes are going to be built. We know how many hotels are opening around the world. We know how many ships are being put in the water, be it deep water, ocean going, or river cruises. This industry is going to grow about 7.5% to 8% year over year for the next 3 years. Find me any other industry other than maybe AI where you can literally project that type of growth. And I think smart people that are looking for a new business, they want to open their own business, it's a wonderful industry to get into. We provide education training for those people that are new to the industry through our Travel Leaders of Tomorrow business. So, we're there to support those people as well. But it's a great time to be a travel agent, and that's why I always say it's the golden age of travel.
And indeed, you mentioned Travel Leaders of Tomorrow. That's kind of one of the ways that you're going out and trying to find people who want to do this and then can get trained on it.
Absolutely, James. Yeah.
It is pretty amazing. I lived through all the commission cuts, and as you did, I lived through we're going to be replaced by OTAs or online travel, and it just has never happened. Although I will say, sometimes it takes a crisis like a pandemic or 9/11,
right.
Things like that, or a recession to validate the value of travel agents. Right?
Exactly. I remember back in 1999 as the internet was really starting to unfold, the projection was the last travel agency was going to close, in January of 2001. Well,
of course, that's happened.
But I kind of look at it and I say, a lot of the prognosticators, they were absolutely wrong. But this is a growing, thriving part of the business.
So maybe someday we won't have that question. I didn't think travel advisors existed anymore.
Exactly. No,
I think
that administration's out, but we're doing quite well.
So let's talk a little bit about over the past 20 years or so, we've seen a really kind of a change in the model. When I got in the business, the biggest organization around was ASTA. Right. Then you had smaller consortium. You had host agencies, but not that many. The independent travel contractors, the home-based advisors were really not part of the business. Of course, that changed dramatically in the last 20 years. So now we have the emergence of a very few large consortium and some very large host agencies. Is this the model that we're going to have for a while?
I think so. Obviously it's working for everybody. Organizationally, we're very happy with, the Travel Leaders Network business model and how they're performing. We're very, very pleased with our members that are large hosts and all types of business models in between. So, we want to just provide great product, great service, great education, great training for anybody that wants to sell travel. Where they choose to make their home, that's completely up to them and their decision. But we need to be there to support them with that training, education, product, knowledge, so forth. So, I don't see it changing in the near future, but, only time will tell on that one, and we'll be prepared.
You see more consolidation among the large agency groups?
Well, I think so. Great question on mergers and acquisition. Right now, we all know cost of capital is very high. We've seen a little bit of slowdown on the M&A side of things, but as time changes, I do think we will see some sort of consolidation.
Now, we're now in a period of tremendous growth, as we said, and the golden age of travel advisors, the great sales, it's the most we've ever seen. Are there any dangers ahead that could, this growth would be stopped for a while?
Not that I see. Even, people have projected a recession now for the last year. Now we're coming into the general election, which typically in the past you would see a little bit of a slowdown for Q3, Q4. We're not seeing that. So
no more election downturn, right?
No, and thank God for that. But
people really don't care who gets elected. We're going to travel.
Well, I don't think it really came down to who was going to be elected. I think everything was driven off of fear. And our biggest fear that we will ever have is behind us, and that was the pandemic. And nobody could present that, could have predicted that. So I think everybody looks at it and goes, it's an election, on November 5th, everything's going to be fine. So let me book my travel. It's fine.
But let's say we have another crisis. I mean, maybe are you looking at that and say, how can we, the next time around, if it happens, hopefully it won't in my lifetime or yours, how can we help? Is the idea is you got to belong to larger groups, you got to have ways to places to turn to get help?
Well, I think all of us have learned what we did right, what we did wrong, how we could have done things better. So you always learn from your experiences. So I think if anything like that were to happen again, I think we'd all be prepared for it. We would know how to talk to our clients. We'd know how to talk to our employees, and we'd know how to talk to our travelers. So I think we'd be in a much better position to weather the storm a little bit better. And I also think, you look at how people are performing now. The people that came out of the pandemic, they're getting back on their feet financially, and I think people will be prepared the next time anything like this could happen.
So the larger groups are ready to adapt, and also even smaller players, their individual agencies live through this. They figured something out that they can survive it.
Absolutely.
Last question. What does the future hold for Travel Leaders Network and Travel Leaders Group?
Well, I think it's, we're going to continue to evolve, innovate. That's what we've always done. I think we've been the leader in that from a consortia standpoint. We will continue to provide great products, great services to our members. We will continue to work extremely hard for our partners and produce above and beyond what they expect in the industry, from the industry. So we always want to be the leader. We have been the leader, but the only way we can stay there is to continue to innovate and drive our programs forward. So we'll continue to do that.
Well, John, I want to thank you for taking the time. I know it's a busy time for you in the conference. It's always great to see you. And usually we have a drink at a bar, but we'll have another conversation after that during that time. But again, a wonderful. It's been a great conference. Congratulations on that. And I don't even need to wish you good luck for the year ahead because boy, everything's humming along pretty good right now, right?
It is, James, and I want to thank you for coming. You always take the time to attend our event, and it means a lot to me. Means a lot to the organization, so thank you.
Well, you've been a good friend for many years, and I have to attend because he makes me. I do it because I really like being with John and being with his group, which is really an amazing travel group. I've watched it in all its iterations from the very beginning, the old vacation.com days, and then watched it become Travel Leaders, and it just keeps growing, and it really has been an amazing evolution. And the last how many years have you now been president of Travel Leaders Group?
VCOM and Travel Leaders Group, let's see, 2011, so 13 years.
Well, again, those 13 years, a lot of that's due credit to you. It's been amazing, and it's been great to watch you work with this in all that time. Again, thanks so much.
Thank you, James.
I'm James Schillinglaw, and this is Insider Travel Report.